Murph, the shed dog. Found now he's a dead dog, but oh man, what a shame. What a shame. Drop tine starting. Bunch of junk. Hole in him. I mean, that's a shame.
Just finding these beautiful up-and-coming bucks dead. We've known this one's been here since archery season.
All right, guys.
3 bucks.
One day,
Same tree. Oh my God, I'm so...
Woo!
Holy shit! Get a shot of these.
2 farms this year. Number 1 is done.
Did you say bye, Kevin?
I did. I already did. Bye, Kevin.
Bye, Kevin.
Bye, Kevin. Bye, Kevin.
Smoked it, buddy. Look at that. You destroyed it.
Joey takes
The shop is closing up.
Make sure he takes all his right antlers. All right, guys. Welcome to Deer Shot Podcast, episode 33. We are into March. Brought to you by Siman Brothers Outdoors and the Leaky Jumbo Company. As always, please like, listen, click the stars, leave a comment on whatever app you're using to partake this podcast. It really helps out with the metrics. Today, we have Nick Schlauch in the studio with me and Isaac. And the main topic that we're eventually going to get into is the alarming number of deadheads that we are finding here in Ohio this year. And not even just deadheads, but there's been does as well. It's kind of up a lot, and it's concerning because it was a mild winter. You know, normally we'd have a whole laundry list of excuses to why these deer are dying. But this year we kind of have some theories on why we're finding so many dead bucks. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. But we're going to open it up by doing a little bit of bullshitting. We are real deep into shed hunting right now.
Yeah, we're deep into the off season of March.
I went a little bit this morning actually to one of my faraway farms to pick up some cameras, and I did 2 miles, and I found nothing. It's going to be a rough year.
I've been wandering around the woods not finding shit.
Not finding shit. I know some people say it's still a little bit early, and when I look back on pictures, you know, we do find a lot of good sheds like late March, but man, has it been a little bit rough.
The worst I can remember.
Like normally, we do have one good setup here, and I'll get to talking about that in a minute, but normally by this time of year, we already have a couple good bones that we're happy about and some stories building, and, you know, this year, it's just rough.
But the food source issue was our biggest problem, I think.
Yeah, and that's a topic for definitely a topic we can get into sometime later this summer. The farmers around here, and we're friends with a lot of them. Once harvest season's over, they go straight barren wasteland. It's like dune out there. Like they chisel plow the fields up. There's no food left. It's just mud. Just mud for 6 months.
It really sucks when they chisel plow the fields before the wintertime, because then the deer just avoid that like the plague.
So it's miserable.
Our one farm is a perfect example. Our one main farm. The farmer accidentally killed the beans. All right, that happens.
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Conspiracy theories about farmers killed the beans. That property, as soon as the rut was over, went to barren wasteland deer sightings, deer bedding, deer anything, deer on trail cameras. We had the drone guy here. He went up and flew around, couldn't find any deer. There was just nothing for them to eat.
No point in hunting, no point in shed hunting, and hopefully turkeys come back because there's no animals there at all.
Well, they might have some nice fields full of bugs since it was just weeds that died and sat there for 6 months. But, yeah, this crop rotation kind of thing we have going on now with the boom of modern farming.
Well,
kind of sucks.
The boom of modern hunter too. I mean, there's a corn pile all winter long, every 47 yards through the woods.
And I can't keep we'll use corn piles strategically, and we've talked about that at length. But we can't keep up with some of these guys that are master baiters, dude. I mean, it's insane the amount of money they spend.
Just the financial implications of it all.
And just taking it out every week, hundreds and hundreds of pounds of corn in multiple farms. I mean, damn.
It was January, and I was getting pictures of deer traveling the exact opposite direction as they ever do, leaving the property to go to someone's corn pile every day at 4:15.
Yep. And it affects the shed hunting. It's not. We used to be able to just peruse through the trails and the fields and the bedding areas, and you just find sheds here and there. But when those deer are locked down on some other food source like that, you're just going to walk and walk and walk, and you're not going to find any bone because there's no bone to find.
Because they're going to be sitting on those food sources, kind of like the story you'll tell in a minute when it comes to these sheds.
Yeah, we already had a podcast where I talked about how I looked for this guy for 20 days or whatever, and like
314 miles.
Oh my
of nothing.
gosh.
And they weren't even dropped.
Yeah, spent a ton of time looking for this set of sheds, and they weren't even dropped. He came back. He was gone for 18 days, and he came back with both antlers on and just shocked me one night. It was after the diaper party. The next morning, I was just scrolling through my phone. And I was only running a couple cell cams at that point because I was pretty much done.
And we know he was your number one hit lister and Ethan's number one hit lister at the end of the season, but it's a pretty good thing that he survived.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick was telling me I shouldn't shoot him for the last 6
not-
weeks
it's
that
not
I
a
was
very-
actually hunting him.
We think he's probably a 4-year-old, but he wasn't super impressive. Probably just breaking 130.
Yeah, he
maybe
could definitely have
132.
been a 3-year-old mid-130s.
Yeah.
We haven't taped him yet.
Definitely not hitting 40. No way.
No.
Yeah, and he's gonna be high and tight, but he could be a slammer
Yeah,
next year.
he's
Yeah,
gonna
like,
be, his mass is solid. His beams are solid. He just puts some more points on and grows those tines a little bit. He's gonna be
The brow tines are nice. They make up for what he lacks in beam a little bit. I mean, he's got 6-inch brow tines.
yeah, but just a real compact rack.
I mean, they're heavy.
I guess we
Like,
could get a
super
tape
heavy.
on him, see what he scored, but I can pretty much guess he's 133.
Yeah, that's
That'd be
what I
my
would
guess.
think. I was curious what he would score because this inside point curled up and was actually probably 4 or 5 inches long.
Because he broke both of those.
Broke
off,
both
didn't
of
he?
his fours. Yeah, but it's a good thing he's alive because we have 3 sheds now, and it just gives you something to look forward to next fall and all summer long. We're gonna be glassing the bean fields where we know he hangs out.
We love building the history with these bucks, even though it's a real heartbreak when they either get shot or they disappear, they never come back. But
There's always another deer.
yeah, there's always
It sucks in the moment, but there's always.
But
another
building the history is fun.
deer. Yeah,
It's the best part.
yeah. Gobblers. Gobblers are back.
They're back. Well,
time.
at some of the farms.
We had a large flock of turkeys towards the end of deer season. There was a lot of jakes and hens. I didn't really see much in the way of gobblers, but then the last week, Nick on one of his farms, just an explosion of birds strutting and gobbling, and they're still in a very big flock, which means we got plenty of time and they're going to disperse. But
And turkey season could be really fun if we were better at it. Because
yeah,
each person only gets one tag here in Ohio now, so if we could actually kill some birds, we could, stack them up.
it's just like we've brought it up multiple times. It's just like the mature buck argument. Every turkey hunter can't kill a gobbler. There's not enough.
But maybe a few years of these mild winters and good hatches,
Yeah.
hopefully, will lead to more gobblers this spring.
Past 2 years have been rough.
Yeah,
I mean, just jakes everywhere.
yeah. We run into these problems here. We'll have a flock of 6 or 7 jakes will push gobblers out. So you might have a gobbler using your farm, and them jakes come in and start getting aggressive. It'll push that gobbler out. He won't fuck with that. He'll leave. He'll go somewhere else.
Yep.
No point. Who wants to fight teenagers at the bar? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's
But now, hopefully, all those jakes are gobblers because if anybody knows anything about turkeys, it only takes a couple years.
yeah. That's the nice part. It's fast recovery.
The jakes are the 1-year-old birds and the gobblers are the 2-year-old birds.
Yeah, it's cool. Our bear film is going to be the next thing that we kind of release on our YouTube channel, and the next big thing we have going. We have to film. We actually have scheduled to.
Yeah, we have a
film-
podcast next
film
week.
that podcast.
And then the video will drop. It's a pretty good film.
Second or third week of March is when that's going to go
We won't give away too many details, but everybody's listened and they know we didn't shoot any bears
in the spring.
in the spring. But there was a bear killed, and it is in the video. So
In the
there's,
fall,
there's a
yeah.
dead bear in the video.
There is. I spent the last couple weeks kind of working on that and getting it down. I'm like 90% done with it, and need to get Jay's approval. He's worried about He's like, I don't want to look like a douchebag on film. Like, I gotta look at it first. I'm like, all right,
Whatever.
all you do is breathe heavy for the first 45 minutes and then smile a lot at the end. Like, so you'll be all right. But we'll have him preview it, and then we'll get that out probably second week of March. I bet second or third weekend of March is when it's going to come out. It'll come out like on Sunday night probably.
Yeah, because the people that are spring bear hunting this year, they're getting ramped up to go. I think Jay's going the first or second week of May. He was talking to us a little bit today. I don't know if you saw those messages.
I think he got me out of that one chat because I'm not going out west this year. But
He's going to go a week early.
He's
'cause
taking
got
his
the
woman,
time.
right?
Yeah, eventually. But he's going a week early. He's going to start looking for some turkeys and stuff out there
Yeah.
in Montana. And then, depending on the weather, he'll have like a 3-week window to hit the weather right, because that's where we screwed up. We didn't hit the weather right. So hopefully he has better luck doing that.
And then 2 of our other buddies, Ryan's been on the
Yeah,
podcast.
I didn't really hear too much about that. I just saw you
They're
guys
going
talking
to
about it.
Idaho, right?
Yeah, I think towards the end of May.
Yeah,
that's
that's big country.
Idaho is the big country.
Idaho's big country. That's real backwoods. They're doing a drop camp, right?
No, they're doing DIY.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Damn, that's manly.
Yeah, they're doing.
Yeah, maybe we'll get them on to talk because I'd like to share some info with them.
Yeah, I want to get Seth on because he's got all kinds of cool stories from the last couple of years. I don't know how he'd do with the microphone in his face, but we can try to get him in here. Yeah. Ryan ended up liking it, so. But yeah, Seth, our buddy Seth Dickens, he killed it. He went on a DIY drop camp caribou hunt last year, right?
Yep.
And was successful. And he's got some adventures that have been pretty cool. So he'd be a good one to talk to about some of this stuff.
Yeah, cool. We secured our turkey camp date, time, all that.
Yeah, I actually got the green light from my super pregnant wife to be able to go on the turkey camp this year, so that's good to go. Trout camp will be you guys. I won't be there for that. There's a chance,
slight chance you could sneak away.
Yeah, she's kind of warmed up to the idea a little bit because she's like,
I mean, if the baby comes and you're like 2 weeks in, I mean, what's getting away for one day? She's gonna be trying to kick your ass out of the house.
Well, here's the thing too. She's been doing this thing where she's like trying to keep the mothers away, but she knows eventually she's going to have to keep the mothers are going to come over and do a lot of shit, and that would be just the perfect time for me to get the fuck out of there. And
yeah,
go
if
to
they want to come see the baby.
Yeah, even if it's one night, like you guys you guys will be sitting around the Cougar Bobs, and I'll just walk in. Literally, just you're gonna see me walk in. Businessman on call.
Well, thank God it's not work.
Yeah, you've had a little rough stretch with that, huh?
But anyways, yeah, turkey camp. Spring trout, which I think we'll do a podcast about trout fishing maybe the week after bear hunting podcast.
Yeah, you guys can get Dylan in here and get some of the guys.
Yeah, we
in
got
here
some
laughs.
We got all sorts of stories.
You guys can tell some stories. I'll sit that one out probably since I'm out this year, but that's fine. And then the only thing else I got on here for doing some bullshitting with is a couple series we're gonna run this summer. I'm working on a habitat series, which is gonna be pretty cool. For our own knowledge and for sharing, there's some things. I got a guy lined up to talk about food plots, Jason Say. He's a Pennsylvania guy, just food plot guru. And we're going to figure out why our brassicas suck and if we should ever plant them again. Because
probably not. I think a big problem that we have is our soil sucks.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We never test it. We never lime it. We fertilized a little bit.
We're going to do that this year. We're going to play with it this year a little bit.
But we're also going to reduce one of our food plots quite a bit.
Yeah, I actually got that.
That was the plan.
I talked to the farmer about that. I don't know if I haven't got to talk to you about it, but he's doing it. He's going to plant corn up to the tree line. He won't be able to get the skinny section. So that's
fine.
Yeah. Right. Our food plots will be smaller, but we'll have more ag.
I'm taking credit for that idea for sure.
Yeah. Plus, I'm going to have less time, but I'm also going to have Zach Haas on. He's a water guy. I enjoy hunting the water holes and stuff like that. And there are some benefits if you do them right. I'm sure we don't do them completely right. But I'd love to we're going to hear all about his operation. He's big.
Yeah, I'd love to hear some environmental stuff because we've had droughts here.
Yeah, we don't ever run out of water though. We live Medina County, Ohio, and this area of Northeast Ohio. We have more agricultural ponds than anywhere else on planet Earth. I mean, literally every property almost has an agricultural pond. Yeah, but we never run out of water here. But
the rainfall in August and September the past few years has been pretty rough. Yeah. I noticed that there's pivots. There's a couple of pivots off 71 now that I've never noticed before.
Really?
In fields. So that might just kind of be telling the story a little bit.
Yeah.
Never saw pivots around here as a kid. Now there's
it was an Indiana thing. You'd have to go out to Indiana to see the pivots.
And all the sod farms have pivots now. So
yeah.
Because our food plots have really struggled in September because of the lack of rain. Like last year, I don't think it rained for 30 days or something.
Well, I just remember the year we tried to plant beans. Remember the year we tried to plant beans?
We were watering them with a big water pump.
Yeah, we were pumping water out of a pond with an old fire hose and a nozzle like assholes, and they still died.
Yeah.
So
talk about a kid with a dream when you do dumb shit like that.
Yeah, plant 2.5 acres of beans.
Yeah, just spritzing the dust down like it's going to do something.
It would have been sweet if they worked. Your beans worked last year.
Yeah, they weren't bad.
Yeah.
They weren't bad. I mean,
you did it right because you planted beans where there already was beans and then left your beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I needed to plant them early because I got them in, they germinated, and then we got hit with that dry spell, and they just stalled out. So I should have done them the same time that the farmer did.
To be fair, the beans that we had in cages didn't look that bad.
They just got annihilated. Well, they were surrounded by corn. There was no beans for miles.
That year was bad, yeah.
No.
So the deer, groundhogs, we were watching squirrels just ripping bean plants, 6-inch bean plants out of the ground. We're like, what the hell? What's the squirrel doing?
Yeah, that's fucked up. We're going to have a YouTube series for all the YouTube guys. I got a couple different channels. We're going to talk to them about their stuff and their operations. That'll be kind of fun. when it comes to the habitat series, that's one thing I forgot to mention. We're kind of looking for a tree guy still. I want to find someone who knows a lot about hinge cutting and the proper way to manage your timber that's kind of local. I'm going to...
Yeah, we'll have to find a tree guy.
Call Chris Brackett.
He might. Come on. I mean,
He probably would.
He probably would.
Desperation in that man. He'll do anything.
But yeah, I'm looking for tree guy. And then the big one that I'm going to announce, and it's going to take a while to put together because I got to get a whole bunch of guys coordinated, but I want to do it'll probably be a September, like August, September release, right when deer season's kind of ramping up. But I want to do a city deer, country deer, public deer podcast with all the three different, because here in Ohio, it's really becoming a thing. There are three different types of hunters, and we actually might even talk about this later when we talk about the dead deer, but there's three different types of hunters now for deer hunting. You got your country guys. We would be considered country deer guys. We're hunting private farms, up to 200-300 acres. You know, that's the main bulk of our hunting is just deer that are living out. You know, if you drive down a country road and you see cornfields and woods, that's the kind of deer we're hunting.
But we are also still dealing with people walking their dogs and all that crap too. So,
but then you got the city deer hunters. That's a huge thing that's blowing up in Ohio, especially with the big YouTube channels and all these celebrities killing giant bucks. And we live 30 minutes outside of major metropolitan areas where there's a lot of dudes killing a lot of big deer.
And I think one thing with this area is a lot of those cities are really friendly to deer hunters.
They start
in other parts of the country. I don't think you get that, but for whatever reason, our suburbs, I won't name the cities, but they allow you to hunt. Most of them do.
And you can encounter some really old deer that don't move very far. Mm-hmm. And when they do move far, they're very funneled, which is way different than what we're dealing with. Our deer here, they're an age class below, and they move so much. Oh, yeah. They just move so much with the seasons, with the crops, with the pressure. You know, and the city guys. And I want to get their perspective because we don't know a ton about it just from what we read and, you know, what we gather amongst our friends and stuff. I would love to hear what, you know, how it works, you know, how often are they seeing these deer?
Yeah, so
what's the story? You know, are they getting daily trail camera pictures? You know, like how does it work hunting these city deer?
Like how far off the bird feeder do you have to be to shoot them?
Yeah. You know? Do you have a blind in the magnolia patch? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you ever shot a rhododendron bush?
Yeah.
These are the questions I'm asking. And then I'm going to find the public land guys. We'll find the public land guys and talk to the ones that have to hunt the big woods, you know, and they're going to give their perspective on it. And
which it's no secret there's not too many around our parts that are local to us because there's no public land.
We're not. I'm going to have to dive down into the Southern Ohio crowd to find some of those guys. But we have our thoughts on that, too. We do a lot of public land hunting every year, 1 or 2 major trips. And, I mean, the one year Isaac killed a bigger deer on public land in 2 days than he did on the farm.
Yeah.
You know, having an entire year to plan where you wanted to hunt. So
and I would suffice to say that when we're hunting those small private or those small public parcels down there, they're almost better properties than we have here.
I love where we
go because of the
in Indiana,
the terrain, the crops, the no pressure. It's so bizarre.
I love it.
Yeah.
There's no way it could be like that here because there's too many people.
Yeah, and we talked about last year. Oh, we're not going back. We're going to Pennsylvania.
I'm going back.
We're all going back.
I'm going back.
We're definitely going back.
At least for a couple days.
We got to find that weather. And Indiana is a rough place because that gun season comes in so early. Sometimes you don't get good weather before gun season.
Yeah, because I'm not.
The second week of November gun season.
Yeah, rifles bust out, and we're not going to deal with that. But
yeah, so we'll.
That's going to be a podcast series that's coming this fall, which would be pretty cool.
Then we have the Deer Stories series, which is already all filmed. It just needs basically edited.
Yeah, and I'll work on that during the summertime, and Isaac's Western stuff will come out around then, too.
Yeah,
it'll be a busy time.
I got 4 videos queued up already. I just have to put the finishing touches on them. That should be a cool series.
Yeah, August, September, October is going to be a really, really busy time for us this year. But I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice that a lot of that content will be done. We can just hunt. You know, don't have to worry too much about it. But I guess we can get into why we're here today.
Yeah, the meat and potatoes of today.
Why we are finding so many dead bucks and deer during this shed season.
Whether it's just this year or the past years. It seems like this year has been a lot more.
Yeah,
and so you guys found some in a concentrated area.
Yeah, so we've kind of done a few walks. Like we said, we've done a good amount of shed hunting, but there's still a lot of places that we have not shed hunted that we're waiting because of the trail cameras and stuff. But we found 3 good dead bucks, like 3 heartbreaker dead bucks, and I found 3 does as well, which is way more than we usually find. There's a lot of these deer that are actually dead that we're using for the video props are car kills, and these deer that we found this year are not car kills. It's been a very mild
there's
winter.
Some pretty sad car kills around here.
Yeah, and
this being the number one.
No, that is not the number one.
Well, that being the number one.
But and we're going to dive into I guess each one of us will probably have our own different theories. And I like to let the guys talk about it. But in this day and age, you have more access to being able to find these deer than ever before.
Yeah.
And you can find landowners. There's unlimited ways to find these deer, and it just seems to me that a lot of people are not taking the initiative,
putting forth the proper effort to find these deer. Whether it's laziness, whether they just don't know any better, whether it's a time crunch thing.
Well, hunting's become so easy. If you put out a pile of corn and you watch a camera and you see, on a week you're gonna have 15 different bucks at that. Mm-hmm. So if you shoot one and you don't find it, well, fuck, you just go back out and shoot the next one.
And an interesting theory: all those deer you guys found in that concentrated area, they're always about the same size, right? Where they're
they're all the
3-year-olds.
They're all the deer that'll make a stupid decision and get killed.
They're the easy to kill off a corn pile deer,
which sucks. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of it, we're like I said, we're going to dive in, but I think a lot of it has to do with how instant gratification has become such a big thing in the workforce and in our private lives, social lives. People don't want to put in hard work anymore to get the results of things. And when you shoot at a deer and you wound it, and all of a sudden it starts running, it runs off out of sight, runs off the property line, the blood trail's not that good right off the rip. I think a lot of people are just chalking it up to, well, it was a bad shot.
Yep.
And he'll be fine. I'm not going to find it. And I got to work tomorrow. All these different things. And they just don't put forth the effort to go and find that deer. And that's why we keep finding all these really good bucks that have the last one I found was the one that kind of was the tipping point that made this podcast happen. It had the shot that was in the side of this buck was not terrible. A little bit high, probably a gunshot. I would say muzzleloader season. There's no reason that deer was shot where the only hole in the carcass was where I'm assuming the bullet was right behind the shoulder, just a touch high. There's no reason that deer shouldn't have been recovered.
So it's either a muzzleloader or a late bow. Yeah. Or can you tell it was a gunshot?
I didn't see an arrow, so
But it was a pretty.
And it wasn't. Deer. It did not. I didn't pull him over to see if it was a pass through because it was pretty ripe condition that day. But there'll be some video at the beginning of this podcast. There'll be an intro, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But that deer should have been recovered. The deer that Tyler couldn't get a shot at because his gun jammed up. They had a messed up leg. Whoever shot at that deer and wounded that deer probably should have been pursuing it and wasn't.
We should have seen him that morning.
Yeah, someone should have came walking through looking for that deer, and then we ended up finding that deer dead later in the season, not far from that point, which was that was an absolute shame.
Yeah, and you never hear about these people coming to ask the landowner for permission. No. Like, hey, can I go look for my deer? They never ask that. So what are they doing to find these deer? Is it getting to the property
apparently not
line
enough.
And they're just giving up?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there was a sour, but it was actually the same guy is technically the landowner or the leasee for both the properties where we found both those deer. And while he would give a little heckle to the person doing it, he would let the guy go look for the deer. We've never had a problem with that landowner allowing people to go look for their deer. No. So they weren't. I mean, he wasn't even contacted on either of them. And the funny part is, it's two different properties that the same guy owns, and he wasn't even contacted for either one of them. So no one, and that's not saying maybe they did sneak in and try to find the deer and just had a bad time with it, but there's just a lot of due diligence not happening, I think.
Well, and I got nobody on trail cams.
Right.
And all my I got cameras literally.
This year you overtook me, I think, and you were running cameras fucking everywhere.
Well, and not to mention the deer that Matt shot during gun season, that 11.
Oh, yeah, that's another one. I didn't even have it in my notes.
So he killed this deer. It had an active blood trail.
Yeah.
Like the deer was laying down an active blood trail when we shot it.
Yeah, home farm deer camp, the deer drives towards the end of the video.
Nobody ever came looking for it.
That deer was bumped up, bleeding. The pushers noticed he was wounded, were yelling out that he was wounded. I could see him limping through the woods wounded, and whoever had shot or wounded that deer was not in pursuit of him because he was bedded down midday.
He was leaving
no hunters anywhere around us.
He was leaving a blood trail you could follow.
Yeah, there was a blood trail up until when we shot him. We were following the blood trail to find the shot point, and then
we ended up finding out he was shot in the rear leg and the front leg.
He had two legs that were just completely mangled
within the past couple hours. They were fresh wounds.
There was no rot to them at all. They were still actively bleeding.
But that brings up another topic for gun season in Ohio. There's a lot of deer drive going on, and we've been guilty of it too. We do a lot of deer driving. But
I can't remember a time we've done a deer drive, wounded a deer, and not recovered it.
That's also true. But these people will go out and do these deer drives, big groups of people, 20 people. They put a bad shot on a deer. they're not going to spend the next 2 days looking for this deer.
No, they're moving on.
It was a one-day event for them, whether they only hunt that one day the whole season or however it works. There's no way they're
got to
coming.
go to the next property.
Yeah, they're not calling off work the next day to come look for a deer they may have hit during a deer drive.
And unfortunately, that's something that's been lost in our hunting society now. I can only hunt today. I can only do today. So if I don't have the deer at home tonight.
Well, I think the effort part's been lost.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
And especially if it's a smaller buck.
yeah.
If this was a giant 200-inch deer, no question they would probably
Fucking
be out
drones
looking
are
for
in the
it.
sky.
Yeah,
You got
it'll be
6
like-
drones, 4
But if it's
dogs on the ground.
If it's a 110-inch 3-year-old, they might look for 10 minutes and then go, screw it.
I didn't want to shoot that deer anyways.
Yeah.
Probably missed. All the excuses we hear. And unfortunately, we don't, and actually maybe it is fortunate just for the sake of drama, we don't have any examples of anyone we know that is doing these things, but the proof is there.
Oh yeah.
The proof is there in the deer we're finding.
I will say though that on the flip side of finding them, at least you know what happened to them when you're waiting for them to show back up the next day.
Yeah.
True.
Like you already have the answer.
Yep.
So yeah, it sucks that they're.
But we know this deer's not
found
coming
it.
back.
You just boom, write them off.
Like the one with the broken legs that we found, the 9 we called him all year.
Yeah.
He was in some of our videos and stuff, and it was just a deer we were very much looking forward to potentially even killing, let alone seeing next year. And he was a regular deer, very patternable, and then poof,
yeah,
just
off
disappeared
the map.
off the radar, and the proof was in the pudding. But like you said, we were never contacted by any local hunters asking, "Hey, did you see this deer? Hey, I hit the nothing. There was nothing done." And I don't know if that's fear of rejection or
Yeah,
you
and
can at least try.
they might poke around, and nobody knows. But
right.
where that deer was found, and you're on a blood trail, you should have found him.
I'm going to be significantly less mad if I catch you poking around because you shot a deer and you're trying to find it than if you're just scouting or looking or trying to see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I'm not even going to be mad if you wounded a deer and you're on my property. I'm going to help you go find it.
Yeah.
100% of the time.
It would have been nice if you asked, but
Yeah.
we will still help you look for it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to have your phone number from now on. You know what I mean? Like, and it's going to start. We will have that operation going. But when you just keep finding these dead bucks, just every time you go out shed hunting, another nice to good dead buck, it's just sad. It's a waste of resources.
Yeah,
yeah.
it sucks.
An extreme waste of resources.
Well, then the does are piling up too. So what's killing
yeah,
them?
and no one. Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit in the drone podcast. Like, not very many people are calling
Nobody's calling a drone
a dog or a drone for a doe.
You guys found 2 dead does near our property with the drone that day,
Yeah,
correct?
Yep.
During gun season. So
During
these
gun
are deer that were shot during gun
Yeah,
season.
they still had heat signatures.
Yeah, because this isn't a whole. I know people might say, "Oh, maybe there's a disease coming through. Maybe
Nah.
that's killing these deer." This is all in season.
These are in season.
If this was the spring or
they
the
got
summer,
defensive wounds. You know?
yeah, it'd be a whole different story if we were finding all these dead deer in the summertime.
Yeah, we worry about EHD.
We never
but-
find fresh deer in the summertime.
Maybe Matt's hunting nearby. We don't know it.
Well, and another discussion we can talk about is these deer that get killed on the road. We see most of our roadkill deer in the fall? Obviously, when these deer
Yeah,
are
they're
running.
moving. Right.
How often do you see a velvet buck killed on the road around here?
Not often, but I know it happens. But not often.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to happen very often.
We do spend significantly less time in like the bedding areas and in the rut funnels and stuff during the summer. Like we're glassing fields, checking cameras, getting in and out quick, trying not to be intrusive. So those bucks get killed. We just don't know it until we find them all rotten up with really sharp antler bases.
Yeah, which we don't find often.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple times we found.
Pre-rubbing trees.
I think we could chalk up to a lot of the kills that we find as gun season. Was something happened in the gun season, you know?
Yep.
We can chalk up a lot of those to the gun season hunters. Just because there's so many more people in the woods, not everybody cares the same. Not everybody has the same time. So, lost a buck. You're over at your uncle's hunting. You shoot a deer, sorry, Uncle Bill, I shot a buck, couldn't find him. Oh, thanks for letting me hunt,
Yeah, there's no personal connection with the deer when you're only spending a weekend hunting your Uncle Bill's.
Yeah.
We're over here. We know everything about this deer for the last 4 years, and you sit there and just blast him through the guts and then leave and go back home. Not even think. You never think about it again for the rest of your life.
Yep.
But like we're sitting here thinking about that deer for the next 6 months of where the hell it went
Yep.
and why he's missing. And that's just the reality of it. We're not saying we haven't wounded deer before. We've all been there. But we're going to try our best to really we're going to try everything we can to try to find that deer.
Do you think this has anything to do with the introduction of less lethal rifle cartridges? Because I know a lot of people have been using 350 Legends.
Could be.
And a lot of people have been complaining about 350 Legends, leaving no blood trail.
I
So
think-
obviously it may kill the deer effectively, but finding it may be the difficult problem.
Which, if you think about it, a new hunter goes out with a 350 Legend, shoots a deer. Could be a great shot. But
No
you get
blood
up, you're all panicked, you're looking around. You know how you oh, yeah, he was by that tree. Really, you're looking 20 yards over at the wrong tree. You're full panic. You spend 15 minutes. Oh, I missed.
Can't find a drop of blood.
Can't find a drop. I mean, that could be... That could
The deer you
contribute to
shot this year had one of the best blood trails I've ever seen in my life, and we had a hard time finding it at first.
No.
It was one of the best blood trails we ever, so like even it happens to everyone, but
So that could be something that's happening because before, flashback 6 years ago or whenever the change was, everybody's using a 12-gauge slug gun or a muzzleloader.
well, I mean, think
And when
about
you
this.
shoot a deer with those, it annihilates them.
And think about this too. There was limitations when like you were using a muzzleloader or a Remington 870. There was limitations. You either had one shot, 100 yards,
Big bucket,
or
100 yards, you're
75 yards. Yeah, you had limitations, so you had to be picky and choosy. They start introducing the AR platform 350 and 450 and the 500 Beowulf and all these guns. And you watch on YouTube, oh yeah, you can shoot 150 yards with open sights, no problem. This thing will kill a T-Rex.
Yeah.
And so people started just slinging,
Started winging them.
fucking lead. And I have that marked down here for me. I was doing a lot of hunting during gun season. You only got to hunt the first morning, so you weren't out there very much. I hunted the whole fucking week. And at night, that last 10 minutes of light, and then the last 20 minutes of light when it wasn't even legal shooting light, just boom, 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 boom. And
Lots
then
of shooting.
flashlights. I'll be walking back from the woods, and then you just see flashlights. People are just scanning the woods. No one was leaving the woods without taking a shot last night.
Yeah.
And we had so many wounded. I found the night that I missed my buck, we found the blood trail from another deer while we were tracking my buck. We found the blood trail before we even got to where we were going, confirmed with a trail camera video of a limping 6-point.
And that might be because scopes are more popular now, too. 10 years ago, you look in the woods, nobody's using a scope on their gun.
Nope.
When it started
Brennicky with open
When
sights.
it started getting dark, you couldn't see shit, so you're not taking a shot when it starts getting dark. But now everybody has a scope on their deer gun, mostly because they are these rifles now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just it's starting to be talked about in a lot of circles, but I think it's an untalked about thing amongst the ODNR and the biologists. They're not. I think they have a hard time accepting that hunters have morphed quickly. Changes happen quickly in the hunting world, and there's a lot of different things happening that weren't happening 10, 15 years ago.
Well, and if you look at the numbers of where the hunters have gone, primarily they're all in gun season. So your archery guys were out there, 4 months.
Yep.
The gun hunters are out there a collective total of 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Between gun
Yeah,
season.
roughly 2 weeks.
So now a lot of those hunters from gun have shifted into archery. So now you got more people hunting that 4 months
With
than
the cross gun.
With the cross gun than you ever have before. So now we got more hunters in the woods for the entire season than ever before.
Yeah, I pulled up the numbers for the last 20 years in Ohio. The archery, or I should say the crossbows, actually have taken more deer than the vertical bows for a very long time, but it was very close. There was a very close gap from 1986 up until 2011. The gap was very close, pretty much even. Now it's not even. It's 73% of all deer taken with a crossbow.
It's not surprising.
Yeah, so only 27% of deer are killed with an actual compound bow in Ohio.
Look at how many guys paint their fingernails now. And
I mean, it's just amazing.
She, hims, we're turning soft.
And we're killing more deer during archery season than gun season.
Yeah, that's
Because of crossbows.
Yeah, and that happened, I think, in 2011, 12, which is when that actually finally crossed the border, and now it's more during archery.
And I don't know the basic numbers, but across the board in all these states, that's pretty much the case.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be some outlier states, the ones that don't allow crossbow hunting. The western states, things might be a lot different. But, yeah, and then you add in, the last stat I looked at, you add in that 77% of non-residents are killing their deer in Ohio with archery equipment. So crossbow hunters.
Yeah, they're coming to hunt here.
77%. So no one's, when they say, well, gun season, all these guys coming in, blah, 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 the numbers don't support that at all. over 3/4 of the deer killed in Ohio by non-residents or archery deer.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine too many out-of-staters come here to hunt the gun season.
Right.
No. I don't know why they would.
No, we don't even like hunt.
Yeah.
I don't even like hunting gun
Nick,
season.
did you even hunt once?
I went opening morning, and I think that was it.
And you got disgusted and you were done with it.
I
should have stayed home too.
Done. I didn't do extended gun. Actually, no, I did extended gun Saturday night.
Yeah.
And then that was it. I did 3 sets all year.
Yeah. You're just not a gun guy.
Oh, I fucking hate it.
And this is going to bring up something that's a little bit controversial too, and it's not going to be a knock on our local guy, even though some people might think it is. It's going to be a knock on just the money and the resources. How many times during archery season, when 77% of non-residents and the majority of our deer are being killed, have you saw a game warden drive down the road?
Never.
Absolutely zero.
Absolutely zero. So the game warden is on high alert for those 2 weeks. The week of gun, a week of muzzleloader, and extended. Game wardens everywhere. If only 40% of our deer are being killed in those 2-3 week periods, why is the presence so high during the gun weeks when the numbers show that even the non-residents and the guys that might need to be checked and kept in balance aren't here during that time? And a lot of the guys like Nick, hardcore hunters, you're not even hunting during that time.
Yeah.
So there's no law presence during the actual archery seasons when all the deer are being killed and all the non-residents are hunting here. Law presence.
You start seeing old green jeans circulate the week before gun season.
Yeah. Checking the normal spots.
And I don't know if it's just because it's his job. He still ain't going to do anything anyways. He's going to go out and check some people.
Yeah.
I got somebody trespassing. He don't give a shit.
Yeah, we've dealt with that, unfortunately. You can't really do much about you can't really, I'm opening up a can of worms here, but you can't really prosecute people for trespassing here. It doesn't work. Nothing is going to happen.
They have to be repeat offenders that have reports made by the sheriff's department, not by the game warden.
Yep.
And that's the only way you can prosecute them.
And you have to spend a ton of money making sure your property is correctly posted,
and you have to have
border to border. Because if they can find a gap in the trees and say, "Well, I didn't know,"
undeniable proof that they were there on your property.
I think it's easier for them to stay that this play the same role that they did for the last 50 years. Just focus on gun week.
Make sure they have written permission. Everyone in the parking lot.
Check to make sure they're only got 3 rounds and send them on their way and hope you get lucky there. Plus, if you got orange on, he can see everybody from the road.
And I'm
within
not
reason.
Yeah, and I'm not advocating the game wardens should start walking through everyone's property, making sure everyone's supposed to be there that's there. I'm advocating that when you're hearing those 5 shots that are 20 minutes after light, if I can hear them and you can hear them a mile away, maybe try to do something about that. Maybe try to figure out why people are shooting after dark. There's no way they're making good shots. They're checking their cell cams like, yep, that buck's in there. I got to try to make sure that and here we are in these situations.
Well, why are we concerned about the couple days of gun season we got when the numbers support that we have more hunters in the woods
gun season is dying here.
Yeah.
Now, we do see a lot of guys hunting during gun season, but they're not killing deer. I mean, the numbers can't lie. They're not killing that many deer.
Yeah.
And like to say that maybe that 40% all happens in a 3-week period as opposed to 60% spread out over
a
4 months. How many guys are really still going super hard in January?
No, most of those deer during archery are killed in probably the end of October to the beginning of November.
Yeah, it's October, November, and then some in December. But a lot of guys don't like to archery hunt after the gun hunters have been in there because of how much their properties have changed. They're still the hardcore guys are still going to be hunting no matter what. And those aren't the guys we're talking about. It's just we're talking about the general public.
Yep. Yeah, it's
and I don't have a solution.
It's gotten worse the easier hunting's got.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw the shift. It's like the cell cams came out, became popular, and then it was like fucking boom, bait.
Well,
bait.
The Barnett $399 crossbow, 400 feet per second. You got a cocking device so anyone can use it.
Oh, these guys,
which is great for some people, but that is one of those 1 step forward, 2 steps back with deer management, finding dead deer, all that stuff.
I think the drones and how popular they've become has opened a lot of eyes on how many bad shots there are.
Yeah.
How many wounded deer there are. I mean,
if you talk to any drone operator, it's nightly, or a dog runner, drone operator, from mid-October to end of gun season, every night, 10 phone calls. And if a good weather night comes through, cold front, good weather night, it'll be nonstop phone ringing.
Yeah.
For guys needing a dog.
I mean,
or a drone.
And think about that in relation. Okay, if they got 10 calls, there's 50 people behind them that should call, and they're just running that deer, the next county over.
Yeah, I have that written down here. There's a lot of people that want to blame YouTube, so I'll bring my YouTube part of it. Everyone wants to blame YouTube for doing this and doing that. We have found that if you're a guy spending the money and time and effort into filming your hunts, most of those cases, you're actually going to do it more right than the guy that doesn't run any camera. Because the guy that doesn't run any type of camera or have social media, he can do anything he wants. He can literally do anything he wants.
He doesn't have to tell
no check and balance.
Well, I think people blame YouTube for bringing hunters into the area.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Oh, Siman Brothers bringing more hunters into the area." No, we had more hunters 10 years ago when leasing became popular down south. When the leases and the outfitting guides and nobody hunted up here 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Everybody hunted down south. Then all that stuff started happening. So everybody got pushed back up here closer to their homes. But everybody wants to blame YouTube for.
I'll blame I'll throw all my blame on the lack of ground. It's very unfortunate that there used to be a lot of farms that multiple people could hunt, and every time a farmer, 5 guys can hunt, gets turned into a development or gets turned into no hunting or turned into a county park, those 5 guys need to go find somewhere else to hunt, and then that's what created the crowding. And that's just my opinion on that. But I think social media has played a negative impact though when it comes to I need to post my buck at all costs on these social media pages. So it's not YouTube, but I'll blame hunting. I'll blame Facebook and Instagram for I need my grip and grin at all costs. And if I don't get it, then I'm a failure. So you're shooting at anything you can shoot at just to hope that one of them goes down.
Oh yeah.
That is a very common thing that happens around here. And you can tell with the trophy pictures, they got 4 holes in them and an arrow sticking out of their butt. Man.
And it comes with the inexperience, too, because we all did it when we were younger. We're like, walking back out of your stand in the morning and there's a buck 40 yards out in the field. You're like, oh, yeah, I can just draw back and shoot that thing. And then the damn thing takes off before your arrow even gets there.
Right.
But we all used to do that.
Do you think there's a lot of, so that brings up another good topic. I don't think there's as much mentorship as there used to be.
No, absolutely.
Back in the day, it was your grandpa would slap the piss out of you if you did something stupid like that. But now that grandpa doesn't exist, so there's just there's nothing wrong with kids figuring out how to deer hunt. But when you're kids figuring out how to deer hunt, and you're wounding 4 or 5 bucks a year, and you saw it on the property you own, you saw that every once in a while.
Oh yeah.
It's just every night something else is getting wounded, and you're getting a phone call about, did you see this buck? I shot at him, but I don't know. You know, it's unfortunate because we can't all be teachers all the time.
Mm-hmm. The mentorship definitely shifted because
it's definitely strange. You see a lot more adult onset hunters nowadays, especially on social media. You see, oh, it's my first year hunting. Oh, it's my first year hunting public land. It's my first year doing this, and these guys are 30, 40 years old.
Well, think about when you started hunting. How'd you do it? You started with a gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you don't have
muzzleloader,
if you don't have anybody in your life to get you out in the woods, start with a gun and develop. These people are relying on friends that hunt. And how does their friend probably hunt now? Stats say they hunt with a bow or a crossbow.
Yep.
So that guy's going to the store and buying a crossbow. Now
70% of the deer crossbow.
So it's.
And when you learn with a regular bow, I remember the first year I missed 3 bucks the first year I hunted with my regular bow, all 6 points. I think I missed 2 and killed the third. Clean misses on the first 2, killed the third. It takes you a while to figure it out, but all those shots were within 25 yards because it was
Did you play a bird noise?
No, then the wrens are back. There's a group of wrens that have been nesting in the garage for 20 years, and today must be the day.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah,
it's a wren.
Felt like I was walking in a Lowe's. They got the lawn and garden. They got the bird speakers up there.
So in the old farmhouse here, there's a hole in the garage door in there in the glass.
Makes sense.
Every year, those wrens come in.
They rest in the same coffee can with nuts and bolts in it on the shelf.
They'll nest there. It's been going on for 20 years.
Can't stop them.
Today must be the day they're back.
Because your dad probably still uses that nut and bolt.
Yeah, he reaches in there, moves the nest, finds what he needs.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you learn with your vertical bow, there's limitations, and these crossbows, you watch the commercials for them. They preach that there's no limitations. 100 yards, 1 inch group at 100 yards.
Well, there almost isn't any limitations when they're shooting 500 feet per second.
Yeah, the dead bucks I'm finding in the woods would disagree with you.
Well, another thing when it comes to crossbows versus vertical bows is the simplicity of them. We can go to the local store here in town, the gas station store, basically, and buy a crossbow with a scope and bolts, and you can be hunting that same day.
Not even just a crossbow. You could buy a $2,000 10-point in there.
Right.
But with how complicated vertical bows have gotten, there's not really like a kit. You can't just go buy a kit anymore and you're shooting that day.
Well, and
you're buying your bow,
you need tools
your sight,
to work on.
You need all this shit, and that's so confusing, and it's overwhelming for a lot of people.
Vertical bows are compare 15 years. Where crossbows were 15 years ago and where vertical bows are. Vertical bows are in the same damn spot.
Not much has changed.
Yeah, we've gained 30 feet per second. It's quieter.
No, you haven't gained any feet per second. Maybe it's nicer to shoot. That's it.
You've gained comfort.
That's it. Yeah.
Crossbows,
more than 15 years.
Yeah, I guess that
crossbows are just out of this world right now. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I don't blame a new guy for using one, because why wouldn't you? If you were just starting hunting and you pick up, I mean, it's no different than you carrying a 350 Legend in the woods.
Right.
Yeah.
But
they just do it for 4 months out of the year.
And the cost, too. So we bought a crossbow for our dad for Father's Day a couple years ago, and it was like $350. And this thing shoots 400 feet per second. Mm-hmm. So super cheap. It's super effective. You can go kill deer. What do you have into your new bow setup?
Probably 2400, and I'm probably at 260 to
with all the arrows,
265 to 280. So
man,
same spot I was, 15 years ago.
Yeah, so you didn't get any speed. You might have gained a little comfort, but when they can go to the store, $400, pick up this crossbow with a scope, mind you. Yep. All they have to do is pull it up to their face and shoot the deer.
Isaac goes out. Every once in a while, Isaac just he'll be out here in the shop, and I'll see him just cock that crossbow and just walk out the door and just launch a 90, literally like a 90-yarder, and just ding, 8 ring. It's like, man, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I got to make a 90-yard shot. I got to make sure I know where the enemy is.
Yeah, right. Like, man. That's
I'll take this $400 crossbow, and you can literally just rest it on my side by side, 75 yards, and put a perfect shot every time.
That's crazy.
It's incredible.
That's crazy. People are really going to think that we're haters today.
No,
but it needed to be said.
Well, we're hating because we're finding a bunch of dead deer and trying to come up with reasons.
Stuff out. Which, I mean, they could be longbows, but I don't think they are. I mean,
no,
I don't know anybody around me that hunts with a longbow. I don't know any of them.
Oh, you're talking traditional setup?
Yeah, just a vertical bow.
Just a vertical bow.
I don't know. Right, yeah. I don't know a single soul around me.
So besides us, our little circle. Everybody uses crossbows. All the neighbors use crossbows. A couple of our buddies use crossbows. Anybody that I know that's not super serious into hunting, but they want a bow hunt, crossbow. They're not using a compound bow.
I can tell by the guy that crowded the border this year in his fucking $72 ladder stands that he's definitely using a crossbow.
Yeah.
His ground blind that he popped up in the middle of the woods next to an oil jack.
Yeah, doghouse
crossbow.
blind. Nothing more classic than the doghouse blind with a lawn chair in it.
Fucking Tate Harder special.
With a corn pile 7.5 yards away.
Oh my God! Yeah.
How many doghouse blinds do you think Tate's bought?
I don't know. Like it's like
I could go show you 5 in the woods.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, I know where there's at least 5 that he's left forever. Well, you have left one forever too. Actually, maybe 2.
I took his fucking lawn chair the other day.
No, but you definitely have left 2 doghouses in the woods forever. There's one on the turkey hunting field that you've left.
Well, that one
has gone back to earth. Like it is finally like there's nothing left. And then there was one that was on the platform for a couple of years. You took it off the platform, and that one has also returned dust to dust.
That doesn't take long, about 3 or 4 years in those things.
But those ground blinds they're basically disposable. Like you get one. I pulled one this morning when I was over at my other spot with Chad, and it had a broken pole, so we gotta either
toss it,
figure it out, or try to get a free one from Rhino.
We got to go take our blind out of the woods. Is what we got to do. The Taj.
Yeah.
Man,
it's not in a good turkey hunting spot, so we got to take that out.
Blinds just suck.
They do.
That Taj Mahal is awesome, though.
Is it?
What is it, a hawk?
We're going to move it somewhere. Yeah, it's a hawk. Like the hawk, I don't know, they call it the cabin or something. I don't know what they
Yeah,
call
it's
it.
an octagon. It's 10 feet wide,
But it's got
8
like
feet tall,
magnetic windows, and just
That's real nice.
super dark in there. We got to put that in a better spot next year.
Yeah, I killed my buck out of it last year.
Yeah, but that spot was just. I guess
2 years ago.
guess spots are cyclical, so
Yeah.
that spot just wasn't that good this year. And as simple as that,
Yeah.
And the funny part was this guy was hanging out like 100 yards away.
Yeah, he never came over there.
No, never
well,
one time.
according to cameras.
According to trail cameras. Well, I had a bunch of cameras in that area.
We'll have another cell cam rant another day. How they just sometimes don't send you the pictures. But they'll save them on the card, and you'll see them a month later. Like, what the hell?
We're gonna get new cell cams this year. I'm gonna sell them all. I'm doing it.
We don't know what brand yet.
I'm doing it.
And he's gonna go cheap.
Maybe not. If I go a little more expensive, it forces me to have less. Just rely more on the woods.
I think I want to go back down to like 3 to 5.
We'll probably, if we sell everything and buy new, we'll probably only have like 8.
If you're going
and that'd be spread out over a lot of properties too.
So if you're going to go to 3 to 5, is there a brand that actually makes like really good ones?
I'd just go 3 to 5 Go Lives.
Just big Spartans, the good Spartans.
Their nighttime pictures are better than the Go Cams.
Well,
Their
3 for sale.
daytime pictures are videos are good. They work. I would probably just go Lives. My problem is, I hate fucking chasing the battery game.
Yeah.
And granted, I should convert them all because that'd make life so much simpler. But I don't want
the big battery packs.
I don't want to carry a fucking battery pack around in a book bag with a camera, and then you can only fit 4 in a book bag, and you're trying to put out 20. It's like it's a pain in the ass. And I don't know. It's if you think about your cell cameras, you really only have a handful that are in like the prime spots.
Yeah, because every year it changes every year. What you think, we always start by chasing last year's sign, and that's how you start. You're like, okay, well, last year there was a huge fucking scrape here, and that buck hit it 10 times. So you put a camera there in September, and by the end of September, you've had 3 does and a 6 point, and you're like, fuck this place, and you're moving your cameras around, and then you come back to that spot mid-November, and the scrape's as big as this bar top, and you're like, what the fuck did I miss?
When you're saying patient, when you're saying move your cameras around, you're not meaning property. You might move it 85 yards.
Yeah.
And that might make all the difference.
It is fun to wake up and do the cell cam game. I do enjoy that, but it does cause you a lot of misery too when you suck and you just don't capitalize.
And Caleb's day, so Caleb has day probably once every 2-3 weeks during the season and leading up to it, where he goes and checks all his cameras, changes all the batteries, cards. It's like an 8-hour process, and there's nothing I hate more than being with him when he's doing that.
Oh yeah, well it kills you when you're not with him. You're like, fuck those cameras, stay out of the woods.
He got here at 8 o'clock this morning.
The best thing that ever happened
is 7. He's still out there.
The best thing that ever happened for me and being able to do what I want to do is when Isaac leaves for a month and goes to Montana.
Do whatever he wants.
When he's in Montana,
he has no cell reception.
Yeah, he can't yell at me for anything that I'm doing here. And then
I just found myself last year caring a lot less about the cameras. Like the highest performing camera I had was fucked up in November, and I didn't even care enough to go and swap it out with another one and figure it out or even address the issue. I didn't care enough. I was just like I was constantly having 3 to 5 cameras in the woods dead for longer than 3 weeks simply because I didn't fucking care.
Yeah, and if you know where the deer are and what they're doing, getting a picture of him doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, what's it going to do for
All
him?
Caleb did was chase his tail all last year.
Literally chased my tail around.
He chased birds nest. He's like, oh shit, he was on that camera. I'm gonna go hunt over there. Oh, he's on this camera while I'm hunting over here. Let's go hang a stand over here. He moved like 6 stands in a 40-acre piece a whole bunch of times, and then all he did
that some bitch was still running around.
Deer off.
All that some bitch was still running around in daylight the whole time I was.
Should have had a stand right in the middle and hunted that stand every single day.
Just never moved.
Yeah, he laid at the top of that hill.
Turned all your trail cameras off.
Hey, there's that fat guy hanging a tree stand again. you would be back turned, fucking tired, trying to hang that stand up, and he sweating. He would stand up, take a piss, and just walk the opposite way.
And I'd get a trail camera video of it.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
So yeah, we're gonna try to fix that situation.
Thankfully that buck can be the logo of another group's podcast. So it works out.
Well, and it worked. The story worked out because he got to finish it. But I don't know. Last year I just went more simple. Hunt the areas you know the deer are in.
Yeah.
fuck it, who cares about the camera?
Well, we've talked about this. I think what I'm going to do to quench my thirst is I'm just going to run a whole bunch of non-cells and leave them. Because it's fucking fun.
You're going to leave them for 2 weeks.
Nah, because that one I checked today has been out since November 14th.
Yeah.
If you can let them soak and just come back after the season and look at them.
Where was the camera at? That side of the road or this side?
No, it's out of the property.
No, you got to take all your cameras and take them down to Gore, so they're 2 hours away.
That helps too.
Can't get to them.
Well, that's why I run 27 in West Virginia.
That's true.
4 hours away. I can't get to them.
You have 27 down there?
That's where the cameras go to die.
That's the camera graveyard.
Like if the camera's like acting funny or has a cracked screen or has something like this, we just take it down to West Virginia, throw it on a tree.
Use it for a year or two.
Use it for as long as it'll survive till the last dust and then throw it in the fire pit. But
every year, all I do is just hunt the areas that historically have had deer. But then I usually have pretty good luck while Caleb's out chasing his tail the whole time.
I mean,
there was a couple deer that survived on the north side because I was chasing my tail on the south side.
Yeah, and I ended up killing one.
You killed one of them.
I was barely hunting.
This guy was killable a few times during the rut, and I just didn't care because I was chasing other deer.
Yeah, well, and Caleb and Ethan, they were famous for it. In the morning, they'd wake up and they'd see all their cell cam pics, and they'd start chit-chatting, blah, 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 and making all these crazy plans. And I didn't read any of it, and I would just go hunt the stand that I knew there was deer there.
Yeah, it's nice having those historically good stands.
I mean, historical data shows hunt that area.
Yeah.
I mean, think of all the bucks killed on that side of the road in that area versus the two that have been killed. How many? Not very many. I can think of Spaniel's buck and Massey.
Yeah.
In the last 15 fucking years.
Yeah.
We've tried to kill deer, and they've been there.
You guys shot the same that one a few times over there.
You bastard.
Yeah, that deer is a bastard.
But yeah, I mean, reducing the cell cam game is I think it's something we can all get on board with for multiple reasons. A, simplify things. B, it'll be cheaper. C, we'll be in the woods less. I mean, it's funny, yeah. Run cell cameras so you're not in the woods that much, and then you got to change the fucking batteries and all the different
every
ones.
week.
You end up in the woods just as much.
I mean, I'm just more on the line of give me a picture a week and I'm happy. Like,
proof of life. That's all we need. Proof of life.
Proof that you're still fucking there. I mean,
and there's situations.
We've been chasing the picture every fucking day, morning or night. Oh, let's build it. And you know
it is fun and it's exciting.
It's fun, but it doesn't change your game plan. You know, I mean, get 3 pictures of a deer in the same area, and you're going to be able to piece together the puzzle.
Yeah. It is nice that it'd be like there's times when it can be real cool if you have an early season food plot somewhere secluded and 3 days in a row that deer, like, okay, we got to do something here. That kind of stuff could be cool and successful, but the reality is that just doesn't work out for us that way.
No.
It just doesn't work out that way.
My best chance at an early season deer was this year, and I got fucking foiled.
We were sitting in the wrong stand once again.
Foiled.
We were in the wrong. The wind. It would have been tight.
Should've.
You don't want to go in and possibly bust your best spot on your best deer on the first day.
But
then again,
next year I'm not. This coming year.
But you probably could have killed him if you were.
I'm not sleeping on that. Like you know the knowledge. You know what he's doing.
Yeah, because what'd you do? Not hunt, and then Tyler shot him in the ass.
Well, the opening day didn't have the wind to be there, so could have adjusted and made it happen, but just said, no, can't be there. Hunted the other stand, saw a nice 3-year-old. He ended up fucking getting killed.
Yeah, one of the bucks we're talking about.
It would have been a simple move. Just bump down, hang and bang, shoot him. You're done. Because he was out there an hour before dark, just hanging out.
Yep, he sure was. He sure fucking was. And we worried. It's funny. We worry about let's not pressure our ears. Let's not do this. Let's not put too much pressure. The buck you ended up killing this year didn't even step foot on the fucking farm till December.
No.
So anything we would have done in September, October, November wouldn't have mattered for that deer at all.
And he was the biggest deer on the farm.
Yeah, I mean,
he wasn't any bigger than the buck that got away. Or the buck that got away wasn't any bigger than him. No way.
Yeah. Close, but either way, it was not a situation we were going to pass. But anything we would have done early season to mess up the farm wouldn't have mattered for that deer at all.
My thought is if you know what he's doing and you can make the game plan, do it. Because what do you do after gun season? What do you do in January? It's fucking, it's
food
all out.
It's fucking golden corral. It is golden corral time.
You do things you wouldn't do at the beginning of the season because you're taking risks just so you can try and make it happen. And it's like, well, fuck, if you know what he's doing, what's it matter if you're doing it at the end of the season or the beginning of the season? Get in there and make it happen.
Yeah.
It only takes one shot. That's all you need.
We're always chasing the trying to find that one mythical deer here or there that we know might exist and using the cell cameras. Well, he's in there now. Let's go in there and hunt. And the reality is he's probably been in there and we just didn't get pictures of him. Yeah. Whatever deer that is. He's probably been in there and we just didn't know it. Because think about how many times you get the deer on camera, how many times you don't.
No.
For every time you do get the deer on camera, how many times don't you?
Yeah, at least double.
Yeah, it has to be.
Because we've been hunting and seeing these deer right out in front of us, walking around the camera, and we never get a picture of them.
Yeah, and then you get a picture. It's just the universe lined up perfectly for the camera to actually work the way you wanted it to. But how many times were those deer there without the camera and letting you know he was there?
Because cell cams are unreliable.
They are.
When it comes to
at least the old ones were.
When it comes to taking and sending a picture every time, we haven't found one that will do it.
Even if they are reliable, your field of vision is this.
Yeah.
How many times do you sit in the stand? You got 2 does, 2 fucking button bucks feeding in front of your camera. You got 18 other deer feeding back beyond it.
Yep.
You got chasing. You got all the action happening over here.
Showing it.
They're ripping into the woods, coming out all over you.
Which you've seen that with some trail cameras you have pointing just vaguely into a big field.
Yeah,
I know you've had a couple like that in the past.
And here you're sitting there and you're like, you look at your check your cameras at the end of the night. Here you got fucking nothing but 2 button bucks licking each other's noses. You know, but here that field was fire that night.
Yeah. I mean, getting in the woods is the key. Just get in the woods.
So.
Yep. You got anything else on your docket there, Kale?
No.
You want to talk about city hunting, or
we're going to talk about? We are going to have a very big series on city hunting,
and we need
to do it.
We're going to have some city hunters.
I got to find some good city hunters. I got some guys in mind that I'm going to ask. I just want to get every single viewpoint I want to get, and then at the end we'll come together and take the pieces that we liked about it and we didn't like about it. And
kind of my idea on that is we have a podcast dedicated to the city hunters. We bring a couple in, then we have the rural hunters, then we crossbow hunters, blah blah blah. And we kind of pick an MVP from each one of those podcasts to come in at the end, and we'll all fight
to the death.
Yeah, I mean I like that. I mean I love that idea.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have a hard time understanding that just because we just spent 45 minutes complaining about crossbows and guns and city hunters that we hate them. Like, that we actually hate them. That's not it at all.
No, and some of our best friends hunt with crossbows over corn piles.
It's all about everyone has their stance, and you're just going to drive home your stance, and you're going to hunt the way you want to hunt. But it doesn't mean that person needs to die in a fiery car
I don't
accident.
hate them.
Yeah, right.
I just think less of them.
Well, and this is our platform, so we can talk about our opinions.
Yeah. And we, fortunately, most of us all hunt pretty similar. There's outliers, but most of us all hunt pretty similar, same way. And being around each other hunting that way has made it so we've kind of teamed up, and we're doubling down on the way we hunt the more we do this. But I got lots of friends that are opposite, and I got lots of friends that think the way we hunt is complete bogus.
Yeah.
Never leaving those 40-acre private farms. Born Again Matt sure likes to let me know about that every time I see him. But
yeah, we're not out bribing people to getting access to their city lots or anything. Yeah. So we're fucking terrible. We got to work harder. We got to bribe more.
Or knocking on every single door. Just being a menace to these elderly ladies. Just knocking on every single door every single day.
And a menace to the people that hunt around there as well.
Yeah, right. Fucking outsider.
Nobody so say you have a permission piece that you've had pretty good luck on. You've been able to hunt it with maybe 1 or 2 other people, and then 4 people come knocking on the door, and the landowner obviously lets them hunt. So now you got to compete with these other 4 people.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd leave.
And there's so many flip sides of it. You're a business, or you're a landowner. My dad's a landowner. We have family that are landowners. You've been paying taxes and working that ground for, your case 3 or 4 years. My dad's family's case 100 years.
Yeah,
and then some guy comes in and
checkbooks open doors.
Yeah, and then some guy comes in. It's it's like, why would you? Well, I can't understand the train of thought of dogging that. It's a negative thing. Your family, this, it's, I don't know. Everyone has their own opinions on things, but
yeah,
I don't see the negative. I don't see how that makes you less of a hunter.
And this is going to come up a lot.
You got to get on a.
I'm doing this one. I'm doing this one sober, by the way. This is a water day.
Because you're a landowner, it doesn't mean as much as knocking on 42 doors or
public land,
or a thermal hub, being on a thermal hub.
Yeah, let's introduce the public land hunters into this thing.
Yeah.
Those guys really look down on door knockers and private land guys.
Well,
really look down
The
on it.
problem
And then add the city hunters. Holy moly.
Public land has become the new claim to fame.
It's a new playground.
It's everybody's got to get their stake in there and try and sound smart. It's a fucking deer.
And thanks to, the hunting public, Dan Infalt, all these guys, they
the hot topic
they
right
have
now.
made it the cool place to kill deer. Prior to those guys coming along,
It was food plots.
Bill Winke,
Food plots.
Lukowski's, Mark Drury, Chris Brackett, having beautiful food plots, having your perfect hunt with the perfect deer and the perfect camera angle. We still kind of chase that a little bit because we're able to, and we enjoy that. And there's a lot of people that think that is just super gay. That's just the worst thing of all time.
Yeah.
How can you sit there and hunt over a turnip plot? What are you, an asshole? And it's like, I fucking love doing that.
It's not a turnip plot. It's a thermal hub, motherfucker.
It's a what was the choice? A whip rub?
Whip rub. A small tree to think of whip rub. I saw that post.
Whip rub?
Yeah.
You mean where the cow was stripping the bark off from the neighbor's pasture? Like, it's funny.
All right, everybody, thanks for sticking with us, especially these last 15 minutes.
I hope you guys did stay for the last 15 minutes. And
We're going to go find some deer beds now.
Yeah.
We got 2 to find.
I did find a fucking awesome deer bed today on a little elevated bump next to a water.
Well, you better mark it because you're going to be able to kill a deer off of that.
Was it indented?
30. It was indented. There was hair underneath the leaves.
Except
but it was still being used.
What was the wind the day before, though?
I don't know. I don't know. But I do know it was 33 yards from a stand I never hunted this year.
It was probably a secondary bedding
least.
for an eastern bedding.
Yeah, you could see 6 houses from there. I swear to God, you could see 6 houses from this bed.
Lady must put out a lot of birdseed.
All right, Deer Shot Podcast, episode 33. We are out.
Out.